Hey guys, what's up? Are you watching me for the first time? So if so, welcome to my channel Slate with Anita, and my name is Anita Rao Jaikumar, and you're watching me on a Thursday. So I'm probably doing sessions with Sue Knight, a teacher I hugely look up to, and the topic that I'm doing is sharing my thoughts after referring to her book NLP at Work, third edition. So we've covered pretty decent ground, like we've I think completed enriched communication, we've completed rapport, we've completed clean questions, we've also completed metaphors, something else, yeah, we've also completed perceptual positions. Okay, so while we've completed all that, right now I'm going to be talking about the last piece of the metaphors, which is like how do we come up with our own metaphors so that we are able to convey a message, right? If you've been watching my previous videos on specifically metaphors, then you know that we've already established that human beings can communicate very powerfully using metaphors. In fact, we do convey messages a lot of times using metaphors. So today, would you like to know some easy steps on how you can come up with metaphors so that while conveying the message in a very powerful way, you probably are spared in being completely direct or forthright about it, right? So let's see what those steps are. The step number one is firstly identify what is the message that you really want to give. And I'm going to take an example that I have had when I have used a metaphor and it has worked very beautifully. And I'm going to also talk about what Sue has shared in terms of how can you structure your metaphor. Okay, so these are the principles. So the first principle is identify what is the message that you want to share. Okay, secondly, list the elements of the current situation. Example: confusion, lack of overview, no strategy, or little ability to detach from emotions. So let's say these are some of the things that you are wanting to work with. These are the things that related to which you want to convey the messages. So to write your metaphor, after identifying the message, you then see what are the elements in the current situation about that message. Thirdly, you choose a parallel context. When you choose a parallel context, you also choose certain symbols that represent the areas that you are working with. Example, Sue says, if let's say for confusion, you could take the example of a maze. You know, in maze it does happen, right? I don't know which way to go. So it denotes confusion. Also, let's say for lack of overview, a view of the platform of the maze. And then strategy could be the way you will go through the maze. So like that, see that you have symbols for whatever it is that the situation is that you're working with, right? Now next, you share it as a story. Okay, literally you may not say once upon a time kind of thing. However, you still narrate it using enriched communication, because that's what very powerful communicators do. So the best way to use the metaphor is to narrate it in a very easy, palatable story form, so that you're giving the space to the other person to let the message completely sink in. So that's your third principle. Fourth principle is to keep it simple. Nothing hi-fi. Keep the words, keep everything very, very simple. Because there is this one thread of story that you can talk about, and that itself can help the anticipation build. The next principle is decide how you will use the metaphor to communicate, so that you leave the listener with the space to work out the solution or work out the message in a way that fits for them. And that's where I'd also like to tell about the immediate next principle that Sue says, which kind of makes very powerful sense. Okay, she says that, and I believe, don't tell the moral of the story. Yeah, and so you leave the moral of the story for the viewer to comprehend or the audience to comprehend for themselves. So recently I had this very interesting experience where someone was sharing something with me and seemed to be very frustrated with the fact that no matter what way he was taking, he was somehow not able to reach to the bigger outcome. Okay, so there were these paths he was trying to follow, and he was just feeling frustrated that, okay, how do I get to my goal, you know. So here's what I shared, and I believe that it helped him a lot, so I would like to share it with you. So I said, hey, have you ever been to Varanasi? Varanasi is like Banaras. Banaras is a very ancient town in the eastern part of India. It's a town which has got a lot of historical value. Apart from the fact that it's considered a very sacred place, it also is home to Ganges, which the river Ganges, which flows in a very mighty form in Banaras. Now, here's in terms of story, this is what I had shared with one of my clients. So I said, hey, have you been to Banaras? If you notice, how are the roads in Banaras? You don't have highways the way you have in other cities and towns, right? You have this very narrow roads. They suddenly become broader, they lead into bigger roads, and then you see they suddenly go into a smaller pathway or a very narrow road. But no matter what road you take, once you have entered the city of Banaras, all roads in some manner or the other take you to the banks of river Ganges. And I left it at that. Does that make sense? Take what you want to take. And I'll see you next week with another topic from Sessions with Sue, in Sessions with Sue, from her book NLP at Work, 3rd edition. By the way, this comes to you after the NLP conference India has happened. So just in case you've not checked out, please do check out whatever it is that they post on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And if you have missed the conference this year, I did miss it because I had some programs. But if you have missed it this year, next year make sure you catch it. Some great speakers are there, right? And thank you for watching Slate with Anita. I'll see you soon. Bye.